Magnus Carlsen can do the funniest thing ever in the chess world in 2025. But what is it? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. There's a few things we're going to be talking about today, so hopefully I have included timestamps in the video player. Otherwise, just jump around as you wish. But we're going to be doing a review of the FIDE World Cup 2025. Once again, congratulations to Javokhir Sindarov. We're going to be talking about the FIDE Circuit as it stands with just a few events left in the year, but nonetheless important events. And we're going to be talking about the funniest thing Magnus Carlsen can do ever and how it affects the world number 2, Hikaru Nakamura. Strap in, let's get chatting. So the first thing we got to talk about is the FIDE World Cup. It was a fantastic event. It really, really was. Some of the big names, the pre-tournament favorites, your Praggnanandhaa, Ramesh Babu, Gukesh, Arjun Erigaisi, knocked out before, I think, the quarterfinals or so. Daniel Dubov having a good run. Sam Shanklin once again having a fantastic run. Of course, the two Uzbek stars, Sindarov and Nurdirbek Yakuboyev, having a fantastic run. Andrey Esipenko, I didn't really hear much conversation about him. He had a fantastic run to collect, in the end, I think it was third place. He qualified for the candidates like that. And of course, Wei Yi. Wei Yi, I think for me, was a big surprise. We know he hasn't played a lot of competitive chess over the last few years. He rose to prominence very quickly, got to 2750, and then disappeared for a bit. He came back a few years ago. I think he won the 2023 or 2024 edition. I think it was the 2024 edition of Tata Steel. Haven't heard much from him since, but that kind of announced him that I'm back. I'm ready to do this. And he had a fantastic run. But as a result of the FIDE World Cup, it is most likely, unless something changes, we will not be getting Hans Niemann, Alireza Firouzja, Vincent Keimer in the FIDE candidates for 2026. And looking at the world top 10, there's not actually that many top 10 players in the world that have qualified. I will bring you up that image again of how it looks so far, the FIDE candidates. Everything, of course, still pending as we close the slideshow. So Fabiano Caruana has already qualified, number 3 in the world through the circuit of 2024. Anish Giri and Matthias Blubom qualified through the FIDE Grand Swiss. Giri finishing winner. He won the thing. Matthias Blubom on tie breaks that they didn't play. It was normal chess tie breaks, finishing second, runner-up. Vincent Keimer feeling horribly done by Nihal Sarin was also close, but Matthias Blubom qualified. As of me talking, he's world number 43. Now things can change, live ratings and so on. And he had a decent run as well in the World Cup. Didn't get quite as far as he probably would have liked. Of course, Javokhir Sindarov, the world number 25, won the FIDE World Cup. World number 11, Wei Yi, I told you, he's still around there. He didn't lose the rating. Now the highest rated Chinese player, going past Ding Liren. He finished runner-up. And Andrey Esipenko, world number 41, third place in the FIDE World Cup. There are 2 spaces left. Praggnanandhaa Ramesh Babu currently leads the FIDE Circuit, which is where we will go to next and talk about the FIDE Circuit. He currently leads it by a huge margin. So it is your top, I believe, 6 or 7 events. It is your top, 6 events that gets taken. So his top 6 events so far: Tata Steel, where he finished first. The Grand Chess Tour, the Romania Classic, he finished first. A second in the Afghan Memorial, he finished second. Uzbekistan Chess, I don't know what the M stands for, he finished first. Singfield Cup, he tied for second/third. And the Grand Swiss, he finished 35th. He got no points actually for that one. So a good World Cup could see him extend his lead. The next 4 players have already qualified to the candidates: Anish Giri, Fabiano Caruana, Matthias Blubom, and Sindarov. Just by the way, this system, Fabiano Caruana is the best at it. I don't know how. He's such a consistent player. And just look at his results. Tata Steel, no points. GTC Romania, no points. It was Stavanger in Norway, where he finished second. I believe that was Norway Chess, actually. 0 points for GCT second, third place, and then US champs first. That's where he got all his points from. So he could still even be better, but irrelevant for him. Then it's Matthias Blubom, and then it's Javokhir Sindarov. So just remember, Praggnanandhaa is on 107 points, and he can improve his final tournament with a good result at the FIDE World Cup or one of the remaining events. We then have to look at who's next. In 6th place on 55 points, almost 60 points behind, is Vincent Keimer. Now, he's only gotten points from 3 events, that being the German Championship, where he finished first, the Chennai Grand Masters, where he finished first, and the FIDE Grand Swiss, where he finished 4th. Now, he is the World Cup. Yeah, the Chess World Cup, round 4, so I don't think he scored any points. Now, he's still potentially going to play one of the events that are left. So what events are left? There's a few. There's the Kaz Chess Masters in Almaty. That's going to be finishing shortly. There's the London Chess Classic and the London Chess Classic, the open section. There's 2 events there. The US Masters in Charlotte. The European Rapid Championship. The European Blitz Championship. But then really, we're looking at the Rapid section of the London Chess Classic and the World Rapid and the World Blitz in Doha at the end of the year. Those are going to be your big point-scoring tournaments. So, Vincent Keimer, you're looking at it. No points from Tata Steel. No points from Prague. What do the red mean? I don't actually know. Oh, tournament results which can't be counted for qualification for the Candidates 2026 tournament are marked in pink. So, Tata Steel doesn't count, even though he might have done all right. No, he finished 8th, so he didn't do all right. So he's got 2 events that don't count. So he's got to fill this up and try and get as many points and catch Prague. So Prague is probably going to win this thing. So Prague is in the candidates. That means Vincent Keimer, Wesley So, Nordebek Abdusatorov, Nordebek Yakuboyev, and Magnus Carlsen. Now, Magnus Carlsen's record is interesting. He's got 43 points from 2 events. First in Stavanger, which was Norway Chess 2025, where he finished first, and the Grand Chess Tour 2025, the Croatia Rapid and Blitz, where he finished first. He, in theory, could still finish with another 3 tournaments. And if you add in first in the World Rapid and Blitz, first in the Rapid and first in the Blitz, all he needs is like another tournament. I don't know if you have to play 5. So 4 of them have to be in standard time control. So that is also the problem for him. That is the problem. Magnus Carlsen does not play enough classical tournaments. So Praggnanandhaa is probably going to finish first in the FIDE Circuit. But let's talk now about Magnus Carlsen. We brought him up there. These are all the events that he has played this year. So he started with Bundesliga, which is a German event, just like the football one. He played rounds 5 and 6. They don't count to the FIDE Circuit, but they are classical games. Why am I bringing up the amount of classical games he's played? Because the final spot for the FIDE Candidates is the rating spot, which Hikaru Nakamura has done brilliantly. He is the 2nd highest rated player in the world. He's played his 40 games. It's been a huge controversy. I made a whole video about it because he was playing like the Louisiana State Championship and events like that, Mickey Mouse tournaments, as he so called them. And some players hated it. Magnus Carlsen said, you know what, he was doing it shamelessly. He wasn't trying to hide what he was doing at all. He wasn't passing it up like it was the right thing to do. But he did it, and he's played his 40 games, so as it stands, he qualifies. Unless Magnus Carlsen somehow plays 40 classical games, and then decides, actually, I fancy playing the Candidates again. Now, in all likelihood, the second part is not going to happen. He's not going to say, I'm going to play the Candidates, but this edition and the next one are probably the last 2 that Magnus Carlsen would consider playing while he's at the peak of his powers. And the chance, if you had said to me 6 months ago, what are the chances of Magnus playing the Candidates, I said 0. Now, I might say 1%. Because, and I did a video about it, it's come out recently, the Total Chess Grand Slam Tour, whatever, the Magnus Carlsen World Championship, where it's combining rapid chess, blitz chess, and classical chess into a World Championship Tour, who the top person at the end is crowned the world champion. It's a 4th world championship by FIDE, which Magnus Carlsen has probably already said they've promoted him. He's going to do it. It's going to be run by the people who run Norway Chess. So he's in. Definitely. He's already confirmed he's playing the Rapid and the Blitz at the end of the year, despite last year's Jeans Gate controversy. And, a whole bunch of different other things. The draw right at the end. I made a whole video about it. It was like my most viewed video for quite a while. Despite all of the crazy stuff that happened last year, he's still playing this year. He wants to leave Doha with 2 gold medals. The first part, though, is playing 40 classical games. In all likelihood, he won't be able to do that. Reason being, we're looking at his events. He played 2 classical games in the Bundesliga. Freestyle chess doesn't count. Rapid chess doesn't count. We need 40 classical games. He did play the Norwegian Team League a couple of rounds, and those are classical games before going off to Paris to play the freestyle. Chess.com Classic online. Norway chess, though. If I'm not mistaken, it was 6 players, so that's 10 games. Rapid Blitz, classical freestyle in Las Vegas, rapid freestyle. No classical tournaments other than Norway chess. He didn't play Tata Steel, he didn't play the Singfield Cup this year either, despite the fact he said one time he loved the event, but that was when he faced Hans Niemann. That was the last time he played Singfield Cup. So Magnus Carlsen is nowhere near 40 games. He would have to basically play every tournament he can think of. He's not going to do that. He doesn't like classical chess. He doesn't know what he's doing it for anymore. So Norway chess is probably the only time we'll see him play classical chess anymore, unless he gets invited to something that really takes his fancy. But Magnus Carlsen is nothing if not a troll. And if I woke up tomorrow and Magnus Carlsen said, I'm playing some random chess tournament, classical chess tournament in Oslo to get rated games to now get the rating spot, it would be the funniest thing that he could do. And it would be beating Hikaru Nakamura at his own game. And it would just kind of be Magnus Carlsen. I hope you enjoyed the video. We didn't perhaps talk about much of the World Cup as maybe you were expecting, or maybe didn't talk about Magnus Carlsen as much as you were expecting. But that's the state of chess at the moment. We've got 2 people who are all but guaranteed of their spots in the candidates. And really, I think the chess world is just hoping for some drama, someone to make it dramatic. I think Magnus Carlsen could make it very dramatic. Unfortunately, his aversion to classical chess means we're not going to get anything interesting. The FIDE World Cup was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The top 3 performed brilliantly. And of course, heartfelt condolences to Nordberg Yakoboyev, who missed out tragically in 4th place. Arjun Erigaisi most likely not going to be making it to the candidates, despite the fact most people would have said he was the tournament favorite for the World Cup, because in the last few years he has shown his ability to not only beat 2700s, but 2500s, who were shown to give some upsets. Some of the players, Gukesh got an interesting way, but some of the top players really found these stumbling blocks hard. There were only a few that progressed through the early rounds. Anish Giri got knocked out by Hans Niemann got knocked out by Ludici. I can't remember who knocked out Anish Giri. Levan Aronian seemed to coast through fine until he got paired against one of the top players. And you can't argue that the 3 players who won aren't top players. They're all 2700 plus. We didn't get like a Najat Basso from last year. You could argue maybe Esipenko doesn't have the same pedigree as the other 2 players. But they're still fantastic 3 players. Maybe not the quality you would expect if you're picking the candidates tournament. But that's how you've got to qualify. And if you want to qualify, you've got to go down these roads. Or you've got to farm rating, get to world number 2, and play 40 Mickey Mouse games. But that's not easy. That's the state of chess at the moment. That's the state of where I am. There will be a video tomorrow, but I'm going to go record it now because tomorrow's my grandfather's birthday. So I've got a fresh haircut, got some fresh shirts. Happy Thanksgiving for those who celebrated in the week. The World Cup World Cup was fantastic. This was a bit of a review of that. Whew. Magnus Carlsen, always throwing up headlines, isn't he?